Well, here we are, 2014, April 2014, in Black Label Society with Mr. Zach Wild. He's come out with a new CD called Catacombs of the Black Vatican. The question is, does it stand up against some of his other work, or his solo work, or his work with Ozzy? Well, here, let's talk about it here. All right. First off, I will say this. This is a 90s grunge retro kind of CD, and I mean that in a cool, awesome way. It opens up with Fields of Unforgiveness and also My Dying Time. Those two songs, those opening songs have a huge Alice in Chains sound, and that goes to the entire CD. The album just literally bleeds Alice in Chains. And there's a few times I thought that it might even sound too much like Alice in Chains. But then, I mean, when I say Alice in Chains, I mean the early, Alice in Chains. Like the Dirt album, something like from that era. For Lane Stanley decided to leave the universe through heroin addiction. Way to go, Lane. Way to go, you jack off. OD like another rock star. It is produced by Zach Wild, and he wrote all the songs on it. And that in itself is it always is questionable to me, even though guitar players are, I guess, notorious for being megalomaniacs. It kind of would have been nice if someone else had thrown in a few ideas, maybe. Some of his band might have had a few ideas, because there are some songs that kind of have a same feel. Like wait a minute, wasn't that the same riff from the last song? You kind of get that idea, but it's that's my only complaint. It would have been nice if someone else helped write some of the stuff. I just feel like you need to have a band influence, and obviously he was not all for that. It was just all about Zach Wild. It starts off fairly heavy, actually, and then when you get down to like a song like "Angel of Mercy," which is like the ballad, it's it's a great song, but it's a little generic. It's a little bit like, haven't I heard him do this before? You know, it's really good, and I think it will sound great live. And on the CD, as I was listening to it, I kept thinking, well, isn't this like something he did before or whatever? And but it does. It's a nice kind of like, slows things down a bit, and the lyrics are fairly, again, generic. I think overall his lyrics have never been that great, and I'm not trying to downplay the album in itself. It's overall pretty good. I just feel like his lyrics need a little bit of. I just sometimes wish that he would read Shakespeare or something, or Dylan Thomas. I don't know. What's funny, because immediately after that, it kicks off another song called "Heart of Darkness," which is like this heavy, there's almost like a punk riff going on there with like with a heavy metal fuzz pedal or something going on, and that was a little bit jarring. I thought the songs didn't quite mesh that well with each other. He could have done a better. I have the deluxe edition, which has 2 extra tracks on it. The tracks Dark Side of the Sun and The Nomad. I hate that. I hate that artists do that. They make you basically pay $2 more for 2 other songs, and I think that's bullshit. I think it's a rip-off. Because really, you want to hear all the music that they've been working on. So, of course, I've got the deluxe edition, and I just think it's an evil way to make more money, and I don't agree with it. It's just like, these bonus tracks, does that mean you don't think they're that great, so you're gonna make me pay more for them because you think that I'm an idiot and I'll just pay more for extra songs? But trust me, I'm not, because I already listened to the songs before I bought it. So, actually, both of those bonus tracks are good. heaviness of the album. Like again, it sounds like a Zakk Wylde album. There's a few times where I thought that these songs could have easily been on an Ozzy album also. That being said, we all know that Zakk Wylde has basically been kicked out of Ozzy's band because of Sharon. Because Sharon said that all the songs that Zakk was writing with Ozzy sounded too much like Black Label Society, and I don't really agree with that because I've heard all of Ozzy's newer material and none of it sounded like Black Label to me. I don't know what she's talking about. I really have no clue. I don't like Sharon Osbourne, and I don't, and it's sad that Zakk is not in the band anymore. But in a way, it kind of makes these songs a little more stronger because basically Ozzy hasn't done anything really that great in years. Even when he was working with Zakk Wylde, I think it was lackluster at best. I always had this idea that Sharon Osbourne was in the background going, too heavy, you don't want to sound like Black Sabbath. And what's so funny is, of course, Ozzy rejoined Black Sabbath and they did a 13 album, and now they've done that, which is a really, really heavy album. That it's very doomy. It's cool. I love it. It's not perfect, but it kind of like tells me that Ozzy can still sing in a heavy band. But getting back to the CD, there does seem to be an overemphasis on too many softer songs. Well, even with the version that I got, there's 3 or 4 slower songs, and I felt that maybe he could have chopped 1 or 2 of them away. And I don't know. I think you need to just have if you're going to put out a heavy metal album, you need to do maybe 1 ballad or something if you're going to be into that kind of, if you go into that territory. Instead, he has several, Angel of Mercy and Scars and Shades of Grey, and it just seems like, okay, you're because he put out Order of the Black, what is it, in 2010, 4 years ago. And another album with the word black in it. He might want to reinvest in album titles and stop using the word black. But since then, he's put out, The Song Remains Not the Same, and he's put out a thing called Unblackened. Both are basically acoustic versions of songs. The Song Remains Not the Same has his songs and other people's songs, like Helpless by Neil Young, and which is cool, and Bridge Over Troubled Water, which is kind of odd, and Can't Find My Way Home. But I don't have Unblackened, but I do have The Song Remains Not the Same, and it definitely feels to me like Zakk just wants to let his inner Elton John shine, and sometimes I wonder about that. Does he want to be a heavy metal guy, heavy metal Jimmy Page, Randy Rhoads, rock god, or does he want to be the guy at the piano playing softer songs? I don't know, because I get confused sometimes. But I do like the slower acoustic stuff. He does a great job at it. I've seen some reviews online saying that they hate his singing and they wish that Zakk would stop singing and hire a new singer. Well, I don't agree with that. I think he's a great singer, and a pretty good guitar player. He's not perfect. He does seem to revisit a lot of the same riffs, I think. But that happens, with any artist. If you're having to come up with, music, and for a while there he was having to come up with music for himself, for Black Label Society, and for Ozzy, and that's a huge task. Especially with Sharon Osbourne standing there with her arms crossed looking at you like the witch that we all know she is. I will say this. There's one of the bonus tracks. If you get the bonus, the deluxe track version, Deluxe Edition, Dark Side of the Sun, and people have already said this, and now that just listened to the whole thing. I've listened to the whole CD about 3 times now, and I just was listening to that track like 5 minutes ago. It is a lot like something off Master Reality or Into the Void or something. And that the riff is just straight up Sabbath. It's a Sabbath song. It's almost like he's an homage to Sabbath, and I think that's great. That was really cool. I'm sure Sharon wants to get money from that. She'll probably say he's ripped off Sabbath, and she's going to sue him or something. Sorry, I'm ripping on Sharon so much, but she is pretty much the downfall of Ozzy, because now Ozzy's like, well, he's like nothing. He's like, the fact that he went back to Black Sabbath is amazing to me, and which is really cool. And it's just a shame that his solo work has suffered so much over the years. He's never really, even with Zakk Wylde, some of his albums were okay, but they were always a little bit too radio friendly to me. I mean, it just seems like as soon as Randy Rhoads died, everything went downhill from there. So, sorry I'm ranting about that, but we'll get back to Black Label Society. And it's the CD is really cool. It comes with a nice, my deluxe edition. It comes with a nice booklet with all the lyrics, which I absolutely adore. When an artist actually has, wow, man, we can actually put out a booklet with lyrics. How about that? Trust me, we as fans love that. Even though you can pretty much understand all of what Zakk is singing. And I didn't get any kind of... I think there is even a better version of this that comes with a t-shirt and like a flag or something that I think you can get. So that's you can look for that if you want to. But I will say this: it's on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna give it an 8 for sure, because it is a fairly strong CD. There are a few songs that are slightly repetitive. Could have maybe not had so many slower ballad songs, but overall it's a pretty good effort by Mr. Zakk Wylde, and kind of shows that he's kind of in a league of his own now, and Ozzy's kind of missing out, not having him in his ballpark. Ozzy has to deal with some 22-year-old guitar player now, and I guess again Sharon is sitting there going, oh no, it's too heavy, don't play it, it's too heavy, it won't be on the radio. But that's what I've said. But if you've liked any of Black Label Society, you will like this. And if you like Alice in Chains, especially the 90s Alice in Chains, not the new Alice in Chains. To me, that's not even though I did review that. If you like the hardcore grunge era Alice in Chains, you're gonna love this. It'll be right up your alley, and you should go out and buy it and stop listening to my ridiculous southern voice. So thanks a lot, and good trucking and rock and roll, man.